Hello YouTube, Pallav here, and Vivo India yesterday unveiled the new Vivo V5s. S meaning, I don't know, S just means a different SKU of the Vivo V5, because the V5s is almost an identical model to the V5 that came out last year, except mainly two differences. Number one is in the design. The back now almost looks bald, those antennas are gone, antenna signs, and apart from that, that's almost non-existent if you're not very particular about that part. But internally, the V5s now has 64 GB internal storage as opposed to the 32 GB that was present on the V5. Plus, the micro SD card now supports a maximum external storage of 256 GB. Before, in case of the V5, it was 128 GB. That's it. And the price, mind you, it's now 1,000 expensive. The Vivo V5 was launched for just under 18,000 Indian rupees. The V5s is launched at just under 19,000. It will be available starting May 5th. Now let's quickly go through the hands-on that we did during the launch. And essentially what we have is the identical looking V5 from the front, slightly different at the back. So you have the same all metal body, and you have that 5.5-inch screen, HD screen, mind you, not full HD. You have a 13 MP back camera, 20 MP what they call moonlight selfie front camera. Both these cameras miss the same terrible thing that the V5 also missed, which is the optical image stabilization or any form of image stabilization. So even if your hand shakes just a tad bit, your photos would be blurred, and particularly under low light. You generally take selfie with one hand, so generally you do not have a very good hold on your mobile. Often the photos come out blurred. I'm not saying the other phones photos do not come out blurred, because you're making a very selfie focused phone here. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind for the best of selfie experience. Anyway, coming back to the design, the antennas are not there anymore. So as I told you before, the back looks particularly bald, and I actually like the V5's looks better. That kind of gave slight symmetry. And yeah, the front is glossy and quite reflective. On the sides, just like the V5, you have the power button, the volume rocker. On another side, you have the dual hybrid SIM card arrangement. Absence of USB-C type port, just like on the V5. You have the same old micro USB port, plus the speaker on one side, 3.5mm jack, and that kind. So yeah, almost identical to the V5. The UI is also the same. You do not have Nougat. At least when you're taking out the same model after 6 months, you could have at least given Android 7. The V5 had Android Marshmallow 6.0. The V5s also has 6.0, so no improvement there. Even the FunTouch OS, their own OS, also the version is exactly the same, 3.0. So all the features, all the UI features you get on the V5, you also get on the V5s. There is almost, I think, absolutely no difference. If there are any hidden updates on the V5s, then we do not know. So only that 64 GB and those absence of antennas and the micro SD card, those are the ones. The camera, you can expect the same quality as the V5, which is, to say, not very impressive. In fact, I like the rear camera more than the front camera. Front camera gives good enough resolution. We reviewed the V5, but the absence of any kind of stabilization, particularly when you're making a selfie focused phone. 19,000 is a very competitive price point, and also it's it's kind of competing head-on with the Oppo selfie focused phone. I think the Oppo's selfie camera is slightly better in terms of quality than the Vivo, but both are almost the same. In fact, you'd get better resolution and you get more detailed photo with some of the flagship cameras, like for example the S7 Edge's 5MP front camera, slightly more detailed than this 20MP. So yeah, more resolution is good, but more resolution does not mean everything. So the V5s is not essentially anything better than the V5 except the internal storage. if you love the V5 and if you're planning to buy the V5, then you should instead buy the V5s, but you can safely ignore both and go on to the next one. Ciao.